What's going on, everybody, and welcome back into Barlow Studios. So this is something a little bit different here on my YouTube channel. So there's been a lot of discussion now in the present and in the past that TikTok may get banned in the United States. Now, I have been a big user of TikTok. I've really started posting my artwork on social media through TikTok. I just don't feel like Instagram has the same sway and the same speed as far as growth that TikTok had. And I just feel like Facebook is just so outdated and clunky, and it's just messy, and it's hard to use it. The pages that you can create, the groups, everything is just so clunky and just old, outdated. I just really never really got into it. Now I do have a page on Facebook for Byerly Studios, and it's linked to my main account, but I've just really never big into it. I've been leaning more so into YouTube here recently. Now, don't get me wrong, I love TikTok and all, but if it went away tomorrow, I wouldn't be upset about it because I am putting more long form content from my art into YouTube. But I don't necessarily want to lose all that data. I've put a lot of content onto TikTok, about 3 years worth. So what I want to do is I want to start to archive some of that data. Now, I don't want those videos just sitting around on my phones all the time where I could be recording new content in 4K or 3K and have that data available on my storage device. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to archive them down. So I'm going to do 2022, 2023, and then I'll do 2024 up till when maybe TikTok gets banned, if it does, right? So what I want to do is I'm going to archive them down, and then what I'll do is I will consolidate them down into videos to post to YouTube. Now, there's some stipulations with this. I would like to call this coffee time. Coffee time. So I may have different coffee mugs, and we'll just be doing a relaxed commentary over that. So it'll allow me to kind of go back through my old short videos and review those TikTok videos and kind of explain the art that came through the channel at the time, and where I've came along since then and so forth like that. Now, I will not be including any kind of reposts in that, so only original posts. And I also did Sunday shoutouts for a while for other artists throughout TikTok world. I probably maybe about 15 to 25 of those, and then I kind of slowed down because it wasn't getting really the traction that I was looking for through the TikTok community. Don't get me wrong, I grew on TikTok, but it just wasn't the thing that I really wanted to be known for. It's just that guy who gave shout outs, right? It was fun for a while. It got to meet a few really cool artists as well as interview them through like a kind of like a text chat format, not live interviewing. But it was really fun, and I'm not going to include those in here because I don't want to continuously have to go back and tag people. Now, as I run through artwork that people have purchased from me that I really do follow a lot on YouTube and TikTok, I will mention their tags. And in those videos, I will do my best to tag them below so you can jump over to their YouTube channels. There's a few of them, but there's only one that really stands out, and he'll come along here in a little while. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to include this in every intro to all of these videos. These videos are going to range from 20 to 30 minutes depending on the amount of content that I have, and they will be categorized under a new playlist, which will be kind of called Coffee Time. And if I want to include any kind of other commentary type art review videos into my channel, they will be included in this playlist called Coffee Time. But we're going to start off by just kind of archiving all those old videos. All right, so I'm going to include this at the beginning of every one of these videos, and then we're just going to jump into it. So my coffee cup, my shirt may change. Now, here's the disclaimer. I will do a little bit of the music in the TikTok videos that I have. However, just be aware that I'm not going to include very much of it. We're going to include more of a voice and music overlay so that way I don't get a copyright strike on my YouTube channel. My YouTube channel is where I'm at, you guys, and I want people to follow me from TikTok over to YouTube. Sometimes it's hard to get people to go across platforms, but I hope you do enjoy the content. Now, if you want to see my full-length content like tutorials and project videos, and whether it's watercolors, acrylics, tumblers, miniatures, colored pencils, anything that you want to see that comes out of my art studio. I'm not just one type of artist. I don't have one niche, right? I'm all these things, including some digital art once in a while. You can follow me on TikTok as well as subscribe here on YouTube. Subscribe here on YouTube, guys. Make sure you hit that notification bell so you can see my newest videos. Sometimes it jumps around depending on what project I'm working on, but that just is the fun of art, right? Don't restrict yourself to one type of art. Really have fun with your journey. And this is my art journey here on my YouTube channel. So without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into the content for the video that you clicked on here. And let's just go ahead and get into this voice commentary. Okay, guys, so if you skip to this portion of the video, you already skipped the intro, you know what's going on. Let's go ahead and give a commentary over some of these old TikTok videos that I've created. and get a little voice art commentary while I sip some coffee. Let's get into it, guys. So let's go ahead and open this up here. Alrighty. So the very first one that pops up here is my vampire cup. This is like the kind of like stages of creation where I was sculpting the actual tumbler. It's right up here, and I'll stick that in other videos too. It was pretty cool. It's my first 3D tumbler. Here's another video, kind of like part 2 of me actually just sculpting the hair. I just used like a needle tool, and I went over the hair follicles or pieces of hair as I added them in small clumps, and I created like little textures and things like that. The washes that I used for the hair painting were able to settle down into those little nooks and crannies, and I was able to get a really cool wash, like hair follicle effect. It turned out really good. I use that kind of to make like roots for the Pumpkin King and things like that. So I do use that overall technique quite often in my sculpting process. If you haven't noticed, I'm using my Dunder Mifflin office cup. Gotta represent. The best TV show that there ever was. It was really cool. It was very like it took a lot of detail work and time to kind of sculpt in all that hair. You can also see that the face is like a glow in the dark. So like the face glows sometimes because I painted over it, and then the hair is more of like a Sculpey original type. It's a little softer. It's much easier and more pliable. This right here is actually one that I've actually created for a customer here recently. Same design, right? Is one of my most favorite designs. And it's the Umbrella Corp cup from Resident Evil. When I created that listing on Etsy, I created like an entire story of like going to the office in the Hive. It's your like 9-to-5 job, and then all of a sudden it gets really quiet. Where's everybody at? And like you're just walking down the hallway, you turn a corner, there's zombies, and like you have to use your tumbler that I've created for you, and like you're like fighting zombies off, and like someone bites you, and you leave a bloody handprint on the actual item itself. If you want one of those, I still sell them on Etsy at the time of this video, and you can go in there. You can pick whether you want it in on like a black or a white base. I prefer white because it's just so much brighter. It's really cool looking. And then you can choose left or right hand depending on what's if you're ambidextrous or you use your left-handed or right-handed. It's just pretty cool. I like the blood effect, and it looks really nice. Here again is the Viking horn tumbler that I made. It was really cool. I think I'm gonna make this again here soon, maybe with one of the spares that I have sitting around, one of the tankards that I have. Probably redo that again in the future. This right here is some runes that I was hand painting. I have a few of these videos throughout my TikTok, and they're not all the same like reposts. They're actually like independent because a lot of people like to order these runes, and I really enjoy creating them specifically for the customer and what they need them for. I shipped one out 2 weeks ago, and I just really enjoy putting it together. I do believe that I'm going to create like a cast of this here in the near future, so I'll just cast them out of like a casting plastic, like a bright white from Smooth On. Instead of just continuously resculpting them all the time. And when I do that, I'll probably be able to lower the price point quite a bit because I'm able to create those in bulk. And I'll probably go from just the 4 from Stardust into maybe like a whole 25 set for like maybe like $30. So I'll be able to lower the overall price point of those items quite a bit. They'll all be hand painted, of course. But then I can also offer them as paintable options so the customers can order them and paint them themselves if they want to. This is a separate video of me actually just sculpting those runes out. It's just a really fun process. And like I said, these are finger bone runes, and they're more so designed to like mirror the movie Stardust. It's just really fun. I believe it's on Hulu right now. It may be on Netflix, I can't remember. Detail painting those. This one right here got like a mossy oak texture. And I created these in a lot of different varieties. To post on Etsy so people can kind of see the colors that I offer. I offer everything from purple to hot pink to mossy gold, bronze, blood runes, all sorts of fun stuff. And then one of these I actually applied actual flocking to, like fibrous flocking to, and it created a really cool effect, like as if I just picked it up out of the woods and it's just this is what you had. I was also experimenting with like let's get crafty like word text on my posts on TikTok. I really don't like that. I really stopped doing that. Now this is one of my daughter's favorite creations. She actually wanted to find this video and watch it the other day on the TV. I couldn't find it, so I'll have to find it and show it to her now. But we're actually using glow-in-the-dark paints, and we're actually using like a medicine syringe to inject that and like drip it onto the tumbler. It's really fun. She was able to really enjoy the process. It used a lot of paint, to go over the white base, but we used every single color glow-in-the-dark that folk art has. So they were glow-in-the-dark folk art paints, and they turned out spectacularly, and they glow so intensely. It's one of her favorite nighttime water cups because it glows so heavily. This was actually a really cool custom order that I had for a customer, and I never really got any feedback on it, but I hope they really liked it. It was a father for, I believe it was their grandpa or their dad, I can't remember, but it was from the USS Lewis and Clark submarine. They were a retired vet, and this is the submarine that they served on. I can't remember the details right off the top of my head, and I apologize if somebody's watching this and they remember it, but it had like hand-created rivets. I created like a gunmetal gray and sterling silver like metal texture. It had metal rivets, like it was holding the metal together for the tumbler. And then I put a few different water slides on them and then aged them slightly so it just felt like they were already on the metal itself. It was just a really cool effect, and I kind of like made like a collage of all sorts of stuff. They also opted in to have a few pictures on that tumbler as well, which took away from the over like metal, like industrial scheme kind of thing, and like made it more like custom, which is completely fine. As long as they're happy with it, I'm happy with it. This is a fun video. It's more like a ASRM, like transitioning my paintbrushes into a container with rice so they can dry fast if water were to get down in there. It's right there, by the way, so you can kind of see that I'm still using it. And now at this point it has like tools in it. It has weeding tools for vinyl, scissors, it has some of my palette knives, it even has a flashlight in there. Eventually I'd like to build out this whole side of the wall for a large scale wall easel with cleat and boards and stuff, and then at that point I might get one or two more of those to place strategically throughout depending on what I'm working on at the time, whether it's watercolor, acrylics, oils, or things like that. It was just a really satisfying video. Some of these paintbrushes have not made it through my crafting processes. Some of them get used for like epoxy and things like that, so not all of them survive the whole process. But it's just really kind of fun to do. I hope you guys are enjoying this video. I like looking back through some of my old art history and kind of consolidate that down. I think it's really kind of fun to put it all into a playlist that I can look back over way later in time, and I'll be able to see some of the art that I've created over the years. So this is the sculpting of the vampire torn scalp. I believe that I made a YouTube video of this. Don't judge me, guys. If you do go back through the sculpting playlist on my YouTube channel, you will probably find this video early on if you search by date. And this is one of my very first uploads to this YouTube channel. So just be nice. It's not that great. It's not that seamless, but it was a starting point, right? That was also the video that I really started YouTube, creating for, and at that time it was this project was already halfway done, so I wasn't able to capture all of that sculpting process for YouTube because I wasn't into YouTube at the time. I was just kind of like dipping my toes in, and I wasn't really going full force. I've came a long way since then. I think I have upwards of like 230 some videos on YouTube now, and that's mostly because I like to separate my projects out into multiple sessions. Eventually, I don't think I'm going to be able to do that. Eventually, I'll have so much content on the YouTube channel that I'll have to consolidate things down into specific lists, and then it will be up to the viewer to find the videos that they're searching for or the project. Or maybe I'll have to make like single project videos, consolidate it down. Because at this point in time, I'm making a lot of videos for everybody to really just enjoy the creation process and learn from my mistakes and what I do, and they can take it and apply their own artistic style to it. Wood grain. This is one of the very first wood grain that I really tried out. I finally had gotten my hands on some Tim Holtz alcohol inks from another great company on TikTok. At the time, it was, what was that company? I can't remember. I'm sorry, guys. Something glitter. Obviously glitter. I can't remember. And it made like a fix-it tumbler where I had like zip ties, duct tape, wood glue. Here's me applying the duct tape to it. It's just a really fun process, and it was fun to make. I hand painted like nails as if I was like holding the sides of the tumbler together with the wood glue and the nails squeezing out. It was just really fun. It took a lot of epoxy to go over this, so I have this tumbler still sitting around. It's right over here. I'm not gonna pull it out right now, but it's over here. And it was just really fun. I'd always saw on Google and all the other social media platforms as well as Etsy that people would make duct tape tumblers where they wrap the entire tumbler in duct tape and then just epoxy it. I wanted something a little bit next level than that, something really I could challenge myself artistically, and this did do that. I was able to do the wood grain, do the wood glue effect, paint the nails, do the zip ties, and then of course the duct tape as well, and then I put it on the side of it, fixed it. Showcasing the hair and the torn scalp, really cool, looked great. So I think there's probably one coming up with me starting to hand paint this. It just looks really cool, you guys. Ooh, another Umbrella Corp cup. This, remember I said I liked it in white? This is one of the very first white ones that I did. And now I only sell them mainly in 30-ounce skinnies. And then of course you can get the kind of the different variations from there on, you know. This right here, I think I mentioned this in the last video. This was just like a different upload of the same video, and it was me creating a snow, like not really Christmas, but a snow tumbler. And this tumbler ended up having, well, at our North Carolina Zoo, we have Kaniki and Rizzo, the two Arctic foxes. So I took the two Arctic foxes and I took a just reference photo that I had taken, and I actually come back later and I hand paint some foxes onto the actual side of the tumbler with some different types of greenery. It's no particular type of greenery. I used a bunch of reference photos, but I did keep it to a nice olive green color from Winsor & Newton. So I kept it very pale out green, no vibrant greens, nothing very standoutish, because I wanted like a neutral green that would look good against the white and the blue background. This right here is a custom order that I had created for one of my best customers, one of my favorite customers, Aaron. And Aaron's my boy. I haven't talked to him in a long time because he hasn't really had a need for art yet, but I made quite a few orders for him, and he ordered some intense projects that I really enjoyed creating from, and it spurred a whole artistic movement in my studio of different ways to create tumblers and like sculptures on the tumblers and things like that. This one consisted of like the overall barrel tumbler that I'm really known for. So it had the rivets, it had the barrel ribs, it has the decay, the ooze. Now his version had a Ghostbusters decal on it, but I'm not big on like copyright stuff. Not huge on copyright stuff. I try to stay out of it if I can, but some things you just want to create, you know. And this one was a ghost canister, so it says it's like we captured the ghost in a canister. Kind of like the capture devices that the Ghostbusters use, and it is bursting out of it. It's breaking out of it, and it's like the ghost is like peeling back the metal, and it was just the first of many that I created in that style. It was just really cool, you guys. I got a great review from him, and I made a few more of different ones, not really ghost related or Ghostbuster decal, and they came out with some great reviews and great feedback photos. These are actually coasters that I created. I created them out of clay. I made my own silicone molds, which I still have somewhere. And then I casted these on my own for my sister for a Christmas gift. I don't know how they've held up in her studio or if she even uses them. I haven't really followed up on that. But they were really fun to use. We put like little pins in there, crayons. I'm not the first one to do this. I'm not gonna act like I am, but I did see it on like Etsy and Pinterest, and it used a lot of resin, but it was really cool, and it's really just a fun process overall. This right here is me actually cutting the clay out of the mold, and then that was where, so it's like a double upload there. of where we actually created the mold itself. It was my first mold making session, and I thought it was overall successful. It did have a few bubbles in it, which was a downer, but it's gonna happen. Until I get a pressure pot here in the studio, that's about air bubbles are gonna happen. This is me having fun and experimenting with mica powder and rubbing alcohol in like the little glass bottles that they sell at Michael's and different craft stores. And it was just fun. I've made a few of those since then. Eventually they do leak and you have to replace them or kind of toss them out. And so I don't really have those around anymore, but they were pretty cool. This right here is a beautiful geode that I created, and it was like the this celestial type of tumbler. It had a bunch of different decals on it. Okay, this one right here, I might even give them a tag below, North Carolina Zoo, since I'm mentioning them in this video. This is a video that me and my wife had taken. She's recording. I'm playing with, I believe it was Rizzo at the time. So Rizzo and Kaneki are two of the Arctic foxes at the North Carolina Zoo. North Carolina Zoo is our jam. We are members and we love going there. They're adding Asia here soon, which we're super excited about. I would love to do an art collection for the zoo. And get just small commissions as they sell my artwork. It would be an absolute incredible thing. Reach out to me, North Carolina Zoo, we'll make that happen. I'll create a whole collection for you guys. I've also wanted to go up into the zoo and do live painting, like watercolors. So I'll probably start doing that here soon. This right here is where we're actually just playing peekaboo with them. Alright, so this is more so me just creating like a geode zebra type of print. It was in the previous session as well, like it's just an original print. So sometimes what I'll do is I'll create like the same video and upload it twice, and I'll put different music on it, and I'll save one for later on. That way you can kind of double up on your posting on content. It's just a strategic method of just having it upload. For a long time I was uploading one new content every single day, and that's tough to do. I've really slowed down a lot on the speed uploading on my content, and it kind of went back on long form content. This right here is a Saint Seiya cup. This thing was incredible, and it comes back here in a little while, so you'll see that video pop up a different way here shortly. Here's me hand painting the actual vampire's teeth. You can kind of see that I left patches of skin exposed for blood and like muscle tissue. And I'll start off by base coating those black before I apply any kind of red to them, just because they're going over that silver base. Hand painting also the eyes. I gave them like a nice blue eyes, and I also used like a yellow to kind of bleach them out with a little bit of pink and red tones. It turned out really good, and it was a blast to paint those. Really cool. It was really enjoyable. That's the first time I've ever painted eyes. Turned out pretty good. Now we're applying epoxy to it. Now, if anybody ever were to buy this here, I do need to sand the bottom and then put a new layer on the bottom, just because it has a slight imbalance. So it rocks back and forth. I need to, now if someone's buying it as a trophy, it's no big deal, but if they want to drink from it and it's sitting on their like side table of their couch or something, or on their coffee table, I want that to have a like ultra flat base, right? So I need to kind of like sand that down real good and then apply like a cleanup layer of epoxy to that to kind of get it to look good. So you gotta make sure you get your finger into all the nooks and crannies, and it does take away a little bit of the detail of the sculpture, but it looks really good when it's all said and done. You just gotta get your finger in there and get that epoxy where it needs to be. And then you also don't need to use a fast set. Use a slow set, so that way those bubbles come to the top and they can pop, and then that way you don't have a bunch of air pockets and air bubbles in your epoxy. Using that heat gun to pop as many of those bubbles as possible. Yeah, now this is when I was using Amazing Clear Cast epoxy. I've moved on since to Flint Sister epoxy. You can find their description below. Code B Studios if you want a discount. Hand painting the bottom of it, I actually left like a node there, and I sculpted a wooden stake. I was originally going to come in later and I was going to sculpt a topper to go on top, and the wood stake was going to come through the top of the head. I just really never got to that. But I did paint out the bottom of the actual sculpted tumbler, and it turned out quite good. Here's me just like showcasing it. See when I went over with epoxy, a lot of that detail where it gets kind of bleached out like that. But overall, he's pretty cool. He deserves a good home, and he's got one on that shelf right there. It looks pretty good, guys. I wish I hadn't made that stake on the bottom so thick, because it forced me to create a really thick epoxy bottom on it. So lessons learned, even if I do sculpt something like that, it needs to be more so of a low profile, at least on the bottom of the tumbler. That way I don't have to create that epoxy buildup. Like I said, that's more so of a trophy, so it's not really a big deal, but yeah. So here's me applying and creating like the 10 countdown for the Saint Seiya cup. This thing is amazing. Yes, as you can see, I did sculpt in armor. So I sculpted armor out of air dry clay and hand detail painted it. Phenomenal. Here's the actual winter cup that I was creating earlier. And then there are the two foxes detail painted there. Really cool. I did use some references also from YouTube, or not YouTube, from Google as well. So I'm not going to act like I just made it only from the reference photo that I had taken of Kaneki. Now, Kaneki and Rizzo were my inspiration for this. However, I really didn't limit myself to that one reference photo. I looked at quite a few, and then the shapes of how other people had portrayed some Arctic foxes, and I kind of ran with it from there. I also created a stencil so I could get the quick outline of them and just really just throw the paint on there. I started with darker grays, and I built up to lighter and whiter tones of white, titanium white, as I went through the process. I was using a really micro brush here. I really like using a micro brush and really just taking my time on small works like this. I just really find it enjoyable to kind of jump around the painting project and just really have fun with it. A lot of people are a lot faster painters than me, but it's just the way that I am, and I get faster when I paint something over and over again. However, when I'm painting something for the first time, I like to just take my time, and even if it does become an ugly process for a while, just trust it and just work through it. Just keep working through it. Really enjoyable content. This type of content is. It's just really fun. To this day, my wife still uses this tumbler in the winter, in the cold months of the year. It does make returns ever so often. So that's pretty cool. Every time it comes out, I'm like, I made that, yo. I made it. I didn't realize how long this content was. I stated in the previous video, and I'll probably state it again, I had been with TikTok, not at the beginning, but early on, and I had opened up, so 1, 3, 5, 10, and then 20-minute videos. So I was able to upload 10-minute videos, and I did that for a while. And then I went back to the analytics to see if people watched it. And it's difficult to get people to watch a 10-minute video on a short form content platform like TikTok or Instagram. They're more looking for that long form content on YouTube when you can get the full portrait view. Landscape view. Not the portrait view, but when they get the landscape view. Look how great this thing looks. Very subtle, very nice. And then when it's under epoxy, it really looks good against the green, or green around it. This is me applying that epoxy. Look how smooth that epoxy is, and it really brings those colors out. I love applying epoxy and varnish to my paintings. I didn't even used to apply varnish to all of my paintings here recently, but I started doing that, and I love the finished effect. I usually use like a Liquitex satin, and I have quite a few videos on my YouTube channel applying varnish to different paintings, and I'm never going to stop you guys. I'm going to keep that going. So that's fun. So you can find all those under the varnishing playlist on my YouTube channel. But this one turned out very good. I have never separated my short form YouTube content into playlists. I just keep them all together. My long form content is an actual playlist, so you won't see this project in a particular playlist, but you will see it in the painting version of my YouTube channel. I believe I made a full form content on that. So this right here is me painting another set of runes. This was a bright blue set, and I believe I painted this in quite a few different colors, so I think it might jump around here. So yeah, it's a whole different blue set, and then I made the silver lining in the inventions of the actual rune carving. This is me creating a painting palette tumbler. I use this at work to this day in my 9 to 5, but it's really not my best work. It really is like, it's better inside my head than it was in practicality. So basically I just lined all of my colors up from, you know, lighter to cools to brights and then browns. And then I kind of just blended them all together and put Byerly Studios on the back. Very simple. This one right here is very cool, and it's still one of my favorite tumblers here. It is Men at Work, or Men Working, like a hazard sign. It's supposed to be like a traffic cone, as it were, or like a sign that you would find on the side of the road for men working in a construction zone. I used reflective tape and I aged it out, made the bottom black, and put slow down on the back of it with a nice decay drip. It was really cool. Another rune set here. Now this is supposed to be, if I recall, it's going to be an actual brown set, like more of a like an ancient, like antique bone type of look. And I believe that's what they had ordered, is like an antique bone. So I kind of like start off with a nice sienna, and then I'll kind of like brighten that with some titanium white, make it a little bit more opaque as I apply some highlights to it. But I'll make sure that those carved indentions and cracks and divots in the tips of the finger bone, as well as the indention of where the rune is, are darkened out quite a bit before I do any kind of dry brushing for highlights around the outside edges where the hands would like have polished those smooth. So just make sure you do things in the right order and they turn out great. I made a few videos of this on YouTube. Maybe I'll make like a long form content at some point one day of me creating these, so that way anybody can just like jump over there and just create their own, just have fun with it. But you can also buy these on my Etsy shop in any color you want. If you want something different, like maybe like finger knuckles or something like that, or coyote bones, let me know. Alright, so this is the beginning of a whole new series here, and this was me actually beginning the process of sculpting armature arms for an alien egg sculpted tumbler. This is probably the second full 3D tumbler that I did, and this thing is a bad mamma jamma. So he's actually right here, and it was an entire series that I did for YouTube. You can find that under the Alien Egg playlist. So if you jump over my YouTube page, you'll be able to find that. I will also try to link that below if you'd like to see that. It's a full form video and it's very fun. So sculpting and painting are separated into their own individual playlists. So sculpting, painting, and so forth, but it's also all together as well. And you can see that the armature arms fit down into the actual main tumbler itself. And they do have armature wires, so they are extremely strong. Because they do come out away from the body of the tumbler and then come back in towards the bottom, and it makes it look like the alien is physically coming up from the bottom of the actual tumbler itself. It's just a blast to create. This is me sculpting actually some of the upper lips. I kind of obviously used the Alien series where the eggs are opening, kind of like the 3-tiered lip opening upward like that, and they roll over before like the face huggers come out and they try to attach to the humans to create the xenomorphs or whatnot. So that's really where this came from, and I'm just kind of creating like a Venus flytrap type of effect. I didn't apply any kind of like sharp jagged like teeth or anything to these lips as they were folding out, but I could always do that in a different version. That would be kind of fun. I really had fun sculpting the outside portions of the egg itself around the actual tumbler, the jacket of the tumbler, because I was able to just incorporate a bunch of fun different designs in the actual clay. As you can see here, all of those designs, the trypophobia holes, the little barnacles that dripped ooze, the long like spines that come out the bottom. You can see there's like tail that comes out of the bottom, out of the port that I left open to the raw metal. And of course the epoxy drip that we do later on in the series really just covers all of those metal pieces up before we actually go into the topper there. We also clayed the bottom, and everything is hand textured and it's ready to go. The armatures fit down specifically into the grooves with their armature wire, so they're really strong. And I adhere those into place with E6000 later on. Another showcase of the actual sculpt work. I'm so ecstatic with this. Even just looking at this video here, looking back, which I haven't looked back in a while, it turned out amazing. It makes me want to create another one in different colors, or like purples, or like a neon. Like I could make a neon one. I like it. that's the end of this video, guys. But I really do hope you guys enjoyed the content. Sometimes a lot of these videos are kind of just pieced together, but like I said, this is just so also for you to enjoy, but for me to look back over time and to see what I was thinking when I was looking at some of these videos, no matter how far along the line of my art career this is. So if you're looking for something custom, make sure you check me up on Etsy. I'm always creating new custom orders, and your order may likely show up on here on YouTube in a full series if it's pretty cool or intense enough. And of course, if you want a special mention in one of those videos that are created for you, then just let me know. You can also find my affiliate codes always in the bottom of most of my videos. I am an affiliate of Glitter from Twisted Glitter. You'll find that down there. Make sure you use my code BStudios, as well as Flynn's Sister Epoxy. You can go to their website and get 2-part epoxy, both fast and slow set, and you can make sure to use my code there as well. I believe it's for 10% off at this current time. So otherwise, guys, I'll see you on the next coffee commentary time, and I'll see you guys later. Peace. That thing's pretty cool, right? You can get yours on Etsy if you want to.